The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as the Brown family saga reached its most explosive chapter yet. Kody Brown, the patriarch of the polygamous clan, sat at the defendant's table, his usually confident demeanor replaced by an air of unease. Across from him, his children Gabriel and Savannah prepared to take the stand, their faces a mixture of resolve and pain. Gabriel, once Kody's confidant and travel companion, had become a symbol of the fractured father-son relationship. Their bond had deteriorated over the years, especially after the strict COVID-19 protocols Cody enforced, which alienated many of his children. Gabriel had tried to bridge the gap, but Kody's refusal to acknowledge his feelings pushed him further away. Savannah, the youngest of Kody's children with Janelle, had always been the peacemaker. However, even she couldn't ignore the growing rift between her father and her siblings. Her decision to testify was a testament to the depth of her hurt and the desire for truth. As the proceedings began, the courtroom fell silent. Gabriel took the stand first, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I told Dad that if he doesn't change and he can't take accountability, then I just won't ever see him again," Gabriel stated, his words hanging heavily in the air. "And I'm perfectly okay with that." The room was stunned into silence. Kody's face reddened, a mixture of shame and disbelief crossing his features. He had never imagined his son would publicly sever ties in such a manner. Savannah followed, her testimony equally damning. "I'm angry at him, mostly," she confessed, her voice trembling. "I was really sad. It's my dad." Her words resonated with everyone present. The image of a loving father had crumbled, replaced by the reality of a man who had failed to nurture the relationships with his children. The fallout. The courtroom drama didn't end with the testimonies. Outside, the media frenzy erupted. News outlets picked up the story, and social media platforms buzzed with reactions from fans and critics alike. "Fans are in shock," one headline read. "Kody Brown's family exposes him in court." "Is this the end of the Brown family as we know it?" another questioned. Online forums dedicated to the Brown family were flooded with discussions. Fans expressed their disbelief and support for Gabriel and Savannah. "I can't believe Kody let it get this far," one user commented. "He had a chance to make things right, and he blew it." Another wrote, "Gabriel and Savannah are so brave for speaking out. I hope this brings them the peace they deserve." Even former cast members of Sister Wives weighed in. "It's heartbreaking to see a family torn apart like this," said one. "But sometimes the truth has to come out." The aftermath. In the weeks following the court hearing, the Brown family dynamics shifted dramatically. Kody's relationships with his children remained strained, with many choosing to distance themselves further. Gabriel and Savannah, however, found solace in each other. Their shared experience brought them closer, and they began to rebuild their lives independently of their father's influence. Janelle, who had been caught in the middle of the family turmoil, expressed a mix of sadness and relief. "I've seen this happen before," she said. "When a father goes MIA, the kids have to find their own way." The public's perception of Kody changed as well. Once seen as a symbol of unconventional family values, he was now viewed by many as a man who had failed his own children. A family rebuilt. Months later, Gabriel and Savannah sat down for an exclusive interview, reflecting on the events that had unfolded. "We're not doing this to hurt anyone," Gabriel explained. "We're doing this to heal and to be honest with ourselves." Savannah added, "It's been a journey, but we're stronger now. We've learned to rely on each other and ourselves." Their story resonated with many, inspiring others to confront their own family issues and seek healing. As for Kody, he remained largely out of the public eye, his reputation tarnished by the revelations in court. Whether he would ever reconcile with his children had barely risen over Flagstaff, Arizona, when the Brown family's name once again dominated headlines. Kody Brown, once the central figure of TLC's Sister Wives, sat at the center of a legal and emotional firestorm. But this time, the conflict wasn't between his wives. It was his children who had turned the spotlight on him. Kody had spent years defending his choices: plural marriage, cross-state moves, and a patriarchal approach to parenting. But fans had watched as cracks began to show. COVID-19 had exposed more than health concerns. It had revealed just how deeply fractured his family truly was. At the heart of this courtroom drama were two of his children, Gabriel and Savannah. Both had long felt pushed aside, casualties of Kody's increasing favoritism toward his fourth wife, Robyn, and her children. What began as a custody and visitation dispute escalated quickly. The court had summoned Gabriel and Savannah to testify regarding their experiences growing up under Kody's roof, and what they revealed sent shockwaves through the courtroom and the country. Chapter 2. Gabriel Speaks the Truth. As Gabriel took the stand, he looked older than his 22 years, worn down by years of emotional distance and unhealed wounds. His voice was calm but filled with quiet fire. He stopped calling, Gabriel said, his eyes not once drifting toward his father. After I tried to talk to him about Mom being sick, he ghosted me. I called him on my birthday. He didn't even realize what day it was. The courtroom hushed. Even the judge seemed taken aback by the raw pain in Gabriel's voice. I begged for a relationship, he continued, but it became clear he had chosen who mattered to him, and it wasn't us. In the audience, Janelle wiped tears from her eyes. She had always tried to protect her kids from the fallout of Kody's decisions. Now there was no hiding from the truth. Kody shifted uncomfortably in his seat, arms crossed, lips pressed tightly together. His typical confident bravado was gone, replaced by an almost childlike confusion. Chapter 3. Savannah's Heartbreak. When 19-year-old Savannah took the stand, the emotional temperature in the room changed. Where Gabriel brought fire, Savannah brought the storm, a quiet, aching hurt that made the entire courtroom lean in. I waited for him at Christmas, she whispered. He never came. He said he'd visit, but he didn't even call. She paused, swallowing her emotions. I watched other kids online hugging their dads, and I just kept wondering what I did wrong. But I didn't do anything wrong. Even Cody, now pale and visibly shaken, couldn't hide his remorse. But for Savannah, apologies had come too late, if they came at all. I'm not here to shame anyone, she said finally, but he needs to know how his choices affected us. We weren't invisible. We were just ignored. Chapter 4. Kody's Collapse. After the children testified, Kody was given the opportunity to speak. Fans who had followed the family for over a decade expected the usual defensive monologue. Instead, they witnessed something else entirely. I thought I was doing what was best, Kody muttered. I didn't mean for this to happen. I couldn't keep up with everything. He looked up at his children. I failed you. I failed all of you. But for Gabriel and Savannah, it wasn't enough. The years of emotional neglect couldn't be erased in a single courtroom confession. They didn't seek revenge, they sought closure. And now they finally had it. Chapter 5. Fans React. The public's reaction was swift and intense. On social media, hashtags like #TeamGabriel and #JusticeForSavannah trended for days. This is heartbreaking but brave. So proud of these kids for speaking their truth. At Sister Wives Truth, Kody always played the victim. This time, the victims had voices. At Brown Family Watch, I used to admire Cody. Now I see he never really knew how to be a father. At TLC Critic. Even former sister wives Mary and Christine shared cryptic Instagram posts that seemed to show quiet support for the children. The truth will always rise to the surface. Christine's story. Healing starts with honesty. Mary's caption under a photo of a sunrise. Chapter 6. Rebuilding from the Ruins. Following the hearing, Savannah and Gabriel chose to remain mostly out of the public eye, but they released a joint statement that spoke volumes. We didn't want this to become public, but silence protects no one. Our story isn't unique. Many families have been torn by neglect, favoritism, and denial. We hope our experience helps others realize it's okay to speak up. Love doesn't have to hurt. Family doesn't have to mean sacrifice. Janelle, now officially separated from Cody, focused her energy on rebuilding a stable and loving environment for her children. I'm proud of them, she said in an exclusive interview. They spoke with grace, strength, and honesty. I couldn't have asked for more. Epilogue, A Father's Reckoning. In the months that followed, Cody became a recluse, rarely seen in public. The reality show that had once made him a household name was rumored to be on the verge of cancellation. Insiders close to the production claimed TLC executives were reconsidering the show's future. Without the unity, without the family, there's no story left to tell, one producer confided. And frankly, viewers are no longer sympathizing with Cody. For Cody, the courtroom was not just a legal battle. It was the final chapter of his carefully curated legacy. The patriarch had fallen. But in his place, a new generation had risen, one unafraid to tell the truth, to demand better, and to forge a healthier future from the pieces left behind. The courtroom fallout wasn't just personal. It had major implications behind the scenes of sister wives. TLC executives had long walked a fine line between documenting real family struggles and protecting the image of the show's central figure, Kody Brown. But after Gabriel and Savannah's emotional testimonies went viral, sources close to production revealed that internal debates began immediately. We've always known there were tensions, one crew member admitted anonymously. But hearing the kids speak in such raw terms about abandonment and emotional neglect, that hit everyone hard. Cody had long maintained control over the narrative, often dominating confessionals and framing conflicts from his perspective. But that control was slipping, and the audience could feel it. Producers began cutting in older, never-before-seen clips of family tension. Viewers noticed. Ratings spiked. I feel like we're finally seeing the truth, one Reddit user wrote. No more editing to protect Cody. Chapter 8. Robyn's Silence. Of all Cody's wives, Robyn Brown remained the most elusive following the courtroom bombshell. She didn't appear at the hearing and has refused to comment publicly. But insiders suggest the walls are closing in around her too. Robyn's always been viewed as the favorite, a former production assistant shared. And that favoritism hurt the kids more than anyone realized. Family sources say Robyn was reportedly devastated by the testimonies, but not necessarily because of the emotional pain. Rather, because of how it would affect public perception of their family and her relationship with Cody. She's afraid, said one source. Afraid the truth is finally too loud to ignore. Robyn has since avoided public appearances, and rumors are swirling that even her own children have begun asking difficult questions. Chapter 9. Christine and the Turning Tide. Christine Brown, Cody's former wife and fan favorite, watched the courtroom events unfold from a distance, but her heart broke as a mother. No child deserves to feel like they're fighting for their parents' attention, she said in a heartfelt podcast interview. I saw it coming. I tried to protect my kids from it too. Since leaving Cody, Kristan has found new love, remarried, and rebuilt a peaceful life with her daughters. But the Brown family's collapse still weighs heavy. Cody always thought being a patriarch meant control, she added. But real strength is admitting you're wrong and doing better. I just hope it's not too late for him. Christine's daughters, particularly Gwendolyn and Isabel, have publicly supported Gabriel and Savannah, calling their courage life-changing and absolutely necessary. Chapter 10. The Public Reversal. Public sentiment had reached a tipping point. For years, Sister Wives viewers had debated who was to blame for the family's collapse. But now, with two of Cody's children openly challenging his narrative in court, opinion turned sharply against him. Fan-run pages, Facebook groups, and YouTube channels exploded with support for the kids. Hashtags like #StandWithSavannah, #ProtectGabriel, and #KodyExposed flooded social platforms. Even prominent therapists and family dynamics experts began weighing in on national TV. What we're seeing here is classic emotional neglect, said Dr. Marlene Arquette, a family therapist, during an appearance on Good Morning America. This isn't just bad parenting, it's systemic dysfunction. Cody's fall from grace was no longer a private matter, it was a cultural reckoning. Chapter 11. Gabriel's Rise. While Cody's reputation deteriorated, Gabriel Brown's popularity soared. He'd always been quiet, a little shy, and reluctant to be in the spotlight. But his decision to speak out gave him a powerful platform. Offers came in, podcast appearances, mental health advocacy partnerships, even potential book deals. But Gabriel turned many of them down, choosing instead to focus on healing. Still, he did agree to one powerful interview. I didn't speak out to go viral, he told People magazine. I spoke out because I was tired of pretending I was okay. He described in detail the pain of being gaslit, ignored, and replaced. But he also spoke of hope. I still love my dad, he admitted. But I love myself enough to not keep chasing someone who doesn't want to be caught. Chapter 12. Savannah's Strength. Savannah, once the quiet baby of the family, had grown into a poised and powerful voice for resilience. After the trial, she launched a YouTube channel centered on family healing and honesty. Within weeks, she had over 300,000 subscribers. In her first video, titled What I Wish My Father Had Told Me, she looked straight into the camera. To the kids who feel forgotten, it's not your fault, she said. You deserve love. You deserve effort. And if your parent won't give it to you, you have every right to walk away. Fans were brought to tears. The comment section flooded with thousands of people sharing similar stories of neglect, favoritism, and emotional trauma. Savannah had become a beacon for those navigating their own family pain. Chapter 13. Cody's Isolation. By now, Kody Brown had gone completely off-grid. Public sightings were rare. Some sources claimed he was battling depression. Others said he was still in denial, blaming media manipulation and disloyal family members. Whatever the truth, one thing was clear. The patriarch had lost his flock. TLC released a vague statement about restructuring the direction of future programming, but didn't confirm whether Sister Wives would continue. With 3 of his wives gone and multiple children estranged, the show's future seemed as uncertain as Cody's place in his own family. Chapter 14. The Beginning of Healing. 6 months after the courtroom revelations, the Brown family was forever changed. But in the ashes of dysfunction, something new had begun to grow. Gabriel returned to school to study psychology, hoping to help others understand the emotional toll of family estrangement. Savannah began working with a nonprofit focused on helping teens in toxic family environments. Janelle, ever the fierce and grounded mother, published a memoir titled More Than a Sister Wife: My Truth, My Children, My Strength. Christine and her daughters hosted a new TLC show about starting over, healing, and thriving after emotional trauma. And Cody? He remained silent, watching from the shadows as the family he tried to control rose without him. Final chapter: The Legacy Rewritten. What began as a courtroom dispute became a cultural flashpoint. Gabriel and Savannah didn't just expose Cody. They rewrote the story of what it means to survive a broken family. They taught us that love without accountability is manipulation, that silence is not strength, and that sometimes the bravest thing a child can do is walk away from the people who were supposed to love them first. Kody Brown may have built a legacy, but Gabriel and Savannah, they've built a future.